What's going on, words? Your boy Shinryu back again for another video. And as you can see here, there's a lot of red dots here. Pretty much my first time that I've actually opened the game today. There's a lot to collect, there's a lot to do. But what we're going to be discussing today, like I advised for, are things I typically purchase at the store. Okay, I was going to do a follow-up after the other video that I recorded yesterday, but I figured that a lot of things have already been purchased, you won't be able to see it clearly from the start, so I figured I might as well just clear things up and let you guys understand how it goes. Okay, now this is pretty much seems like a pretty easy video, but recently there's a little bit of tweaks here and there that you might want to consider in case you've never considered before. Okay, one of the key things is because of fashion blankout. All right, obviously you want to make sure that you're building the best character ever when you're trying to build all this gears around them, as well as their buffs and everything, but you want to make sure that you push them to their limit. And there's going to be one handicap when it comes to legendary equipment. Okay, I hope today's shop actually shows me. As I'm saying right now, this is pretty much fresh up. I haven't done anything at all, no missions done apart from the bounty, which I typically do before I go to bed. As soon as it turns 3 a.m. I just start that and I go to sleep. So let's go right ahead, and first of all, let's see what I haven't cleared yet. Okay, we are close to collecting 20 special summons, which I'm looking forward to, because like I always cry about, I've been so unfortunate with the special summons recently, so I have to hope that this time around, once I get as much as possible when I'm pulling for every you, I can actually pull as much as possible, because I believe Goken is going to obviously be, he's not a collab character, so he's going to obviously remain as long as possible. With the collab characters I'm hearing, it's going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've said it before. Hopefully that's the case. We use my boy Donatello. I know if many of you are fans of him. I don't know, I've always been a fan of Donatello from the very start. I know there are a lot of Raphael fans as well. He's my second favorite. Then of course, the other two, I think I kind of put them on equal measure. That's Michelangelo and Leonardo. But Leo is my brother's favorite. So there is that typical, when I talk about my brother's aspect of playing the game and all that stuff. But yeah, let's go back to the main focus here. Okay, pretty much just want to make sure that I have no red dots. They kind of get to me sometimes. They kind of remind me of the fact that I don't want to have to do. So just bear with me here. The video is definitely going to come into fruition, what I'm about to talk about here. All right, we're not doing much stuff there, just clicking to make sure that the things are actually in place. All right, so let's go right ahead and do some of these daily stuff that are just kind of generic, that you can just do by just hitting the click buttons here and there. All right, and then as I go ahead, I'm going to be explaining further how you can go about these things. See, look at this, I already hit 10k. Whenever you hit 10k here, it's almost like you're pretty much wasting the time to try and generate another. So I typically don't let it get to 10k, but sometimes you just gonna get distracted. Yesterday was super busy because I had to spend I had to give my son a lot of attention, and of course I had to give my family a lot of attention when my wife came back as well from work. So pretty much all that stuff there, right? When she was done with work, I should say. But yeah, going right to what I was trying to say before is I'm just trying to just go ahead and just clear up this red dots and all that stuff. These are typically the basic ones that I want to do. Maybe next time for recording, if this not well, it also showcases how I sort of do with some of those generic ones from the start. All right, here I'm actually very particular. I always go with the highest rank characters, and I already know typically the most of them. Solo is typically number 2, behind Leonhart, or is it Leonhart? And then of course last typically tends to rotate, but I always go for E-Drive play, because whenever it comes to those rankings, if he puts his mind to it, typically comes up on top. So I think that's pretty much it. The red dots look like you're a lot less right now. All right, and Spring Fist just always gonna light up whatever it likes. But now let's go into the shop itself and discuss what we're talking about here. Okay, so obviously, as you know, there are pretty much 5 sections here. Some are generic. Well, some, like, you're probably not going to use them based on my opinion. Okay, like I said before, of course most people are good. It's also going to be based on the characters you're trying to build. Okay, the first one here, if you one of those, well, for me, I think is a no-brainer. Most people would say, they want to make the best purchase, so they only purchase one of this special summons. For me, I say go for all three, because gems, like, how much are you going to use for gems? They're always, the main characters are always going to be in the special summons. You want to at least have a few units of them, and you want to, and they are pretty much isolated when it comes to their pools, and you can always target one of them at at a time and just focus on those ones. But for you to actually get better chances, you want to hold this, because you don't know when the, and the thing is this, even if you're not interested in any character in there right now, for example, you guys know how I love Mad Eve Ryu, Ryu in total, so anything Ryu, so Eve Ryu especially, obviously I'm going to be using this on him, but sometimes you might not want to use it at all. You can just hoard as much as possible. Like I said before, this is one of the stuff you want to be hoarding. So whenever a character eventually that you feel like you're waiting for it comes around, that you know is going to fall in that special summons situation, you have no choice. So for example, you might have people who don't like Akuma or Eve Ryu, maybe they're super focused on that light side, for example, and they just want someone like Goken, right? And then Goken is coming up, in a couple of days, right? You guys would have been picking this up and holding as much as possible. Of course, there are free avenues here and there, but honestly, if there's anything that the gems are useful for or worth, it's this one here. Okay, having 3 a day is not bad for what you've hit 10 in every 4 days, right? So and at the bare minimum, get it at 800, but for me, it is worth the full 3k that the three of them cost. Just look at them as an average of 1k per each, because what is just happening here is that it's almost like I said, the first one is at a discount, then the second one is almost like at an extra price, but then if you get all three, you just purchase it without a discount. That's pretty much what it's like. The next one here is this. You're always going to need this, but you want to make sure you hold off first, and make sure that you've used your cash for all the typical daily stuff. All right, because you're always going to need this stuff. Okay, and this always interchange. Sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's silver, right? But what matters is if you have a lot, sometimes you can always. But this is always what you're going to use your money for as a last thing, because this is the most expensive when it comes to spending your cash, right? So you can go right ahead. The shattered crystal ball, nice as well, but you also you'll be getting a lot of this. So this is optional. I would not force it, but if you look at the price, it's about just 800k. You can afford it. It's not going to break anything, so you might as well just pick it up, right? This one here, this was the biggest mistake I was making. I kept purchasing this one. You don't need this one once you are like end game. Once you pretty much hit the limit break, I'm going to go right ahead and show you the limit break. I know you guys know it, but I'm not sure that the illustration is actually as good as possible. But once you guys have hit this section and you actually are not permitted through everything, you will notice that you would have so much of this. You can see it right now. Like, it is so much. Like 258. These are the things you'll be running out of. You run out of cash. You run out of the experience, but you will barely run out of this. Okay, when you notice that you guys are pushed far enough and you actually run out of this, then you can consider picking it up again. And I know you might say, why not just pick it up in case, you now get more, you run out, but then you don't run out because you're actually picking up extra. That would obviously depend on if you're having a lot. So that's why I say this is typically just last. This is very optional, right? I've been going for this. I typically go for this, but right now I feel like I need to prioritize my cash for other things. If I have more than enough, for example, if I'm in like the, maybe like 50k and above, then yeah, I can definitely look at this right now. I only have about 7 billion, right? That's not going to be enough, right? Because this one enough alone, I can't even purchase this right now. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to purchase this one here. The car, you definitely want to pick up the car. This one is just to actually use your money on the cars, and that's where when it comes to this, when it comes to those options where you can actually pick up the car and boost stones, go for boost stones. But if it's car and maybe like even this fake gems too, you can actually start to focus on fake gems once you have those two options. But for now, the cars are pretty much important for me. I have so many guys who are lacking vehicles, so I'm definitely going to keep on pushing for cars regardless, okay? But apart from, when it comes to boost stones are important for me right now. Now, what I was trying to talk about when I came to this session here is with regards to, I don't have an example right now because I don't have any of those guest chests, but pretty much those guest chests, I give you the option to actually purchase, pick one of this or the other. But these two in my opinion, are the ones absolutely necessary. This one here, for example, if you're satisfied with all you get from all those other the events to pick up special summons, but yeah, find out it's cool, but you know how harsh the special summon banner is when it comes to pulling for characters. So you might as well just get the extra to give you a better chance, because maybe you're only just one chance away from actually getting good. So that's just been like that. So that with the rest are like more gem based. You don't want to use your gems here. Even for this guess whatever stuff, you don't want to use your gems here at all. There is nothing here apart from once this first four that I would consider just where you use the money. Don't use your gems in any of these options here. That's my recommendation. You guys can do it if you guys feel like it's good, but like I said, this is what I'm just saying here. For the second base here, this one is absolutely necessary. Pick it up. It doesn't hurt. This is one of the easier stuff to like upgrade. You're getting one every day, so you might as well pick it up. I think there was a time when I first hit the first 30, they stopped sharing this Sonic. We were all fighting for a bit, and now for a while they started showing it up again. Or did I just maybe hold back? No, I don't think I held back, because you can always keep upgrading that. You want to pick that one up. Now here's now the kicker in this option right now. If you're just starting up, okay, if you're just starting up, all right, go for any of these T1s. This is where you want to get your T1s. You want to save enough to be getting T1s here. Don't use gems on T1s during the early period. Yeah, you will get out that discount third option to buy T1s. Yeah, those are great, but once you hit your once you've gone through at least your primary four characters, not even the six, your primary four characters, once they have it right, then and like I said, then you can now go right ahead, and you want to stop going on this, right? The next thing you want to typically do when you're in the early phase, you want to also go for this ones as well. Yeah, sure, sometimes you might get the one that doesn't give you any of this factions, but keep trying until you have factional ones. Okay, once you've had it to get to the point where you're going to now eventually get to the point, let's see, hopefully I have an example where you can now, like I have so much here right now because I haven't come to the game today, where you now start getting, you see here, like I have a thunder red here right now for the gear. Once you start getting these ones here, you can slow down on that if you already have like a top four as well, and collect it from here. Let's just pick this up so that this guy stops screwing in my ears. All right, so after that, right, then you want to slow down off this. Okay, you want to slow down off this. You want to maybe prioritize T1s over the gear, because you will occasionally get them right from that or from the idle gains, right? But if you feel like you're trying to like match whatever, then you can keep trying, but this is more or less like a gamble. You might get the faction you want, you might get a faction that you don't really require, which require those the scrolls that will make you, the casting scrolls that will make you try and like change the change the faction. Let me just show you what I'm talking about here. For the transformation scrolls, right? But once you have enough, you want to hold off and you want to hoard this further. Okay, why you want to hoard this? You want to start going for these ones here that have the faction that you want. Now hear me out, okay? When I mean the faction that you want, it's only one faction that deserves this, okay? Unless you're all of a sudden you just have so much you don't care about what you're using it on, which in most cases is not going to be the case. You want to be using, if you're going to ever go for any of these factions that are here, which is Inferno, Wind, Thunder, Master, all those ones here, all right? You don't want to pick any of these guys, no matter how it seems. It's too expensive. Like this is almost times 3 the cost of doing 3 gambles. I'm pretty sure if you try 2 out of 3, you'll probably get something, right? So, and then of course you have one you can either use to boost up the equipment, or you can at least assign to one of your minor characters to at least give them some extra strength, right? But you do not want to use it on this. There's only one category, and it's only going to be 4 times if you're free to play, and of course if you're buying all the other characters. If you're typically pay to win, you probably won't even have any problem in terms of saving this. You might be able to get as much as possible. So this is all strictly free to play situation here, because you are restricted with limited resources. Okay, you can't go to the store or to go and buy some more to have more of these coins or whatever, right? What you want to be waiting for is going to be only legendary. Okay, only legendary If you're free to play, typically the only legendary character you're going to have is going to be Blanca. All right, that's Fashion Blanca. All right, and what you want to do is you want to go right ahead and on whenever you get this, you want to get the 4 sets. And once you get the 4 sets, boom, then you can now go ham in whatever stuff you want to get in this guild shop here. Okay, once you have the 4 sets, you can then go ham and go whatever you want to go. Typically I always prioritize the top 2 over the bottom 2, even if I say I'm the bottom 2s, because it's tough to save up unless you see right now I already used one. That's why I'm marked down here, and this is what I got. Let's go to my Fashion Blanca right now. All right, promote. I got this one here. Okay, that means he actually gets that maximum, that bonus that you want Fashion Blanca to have, and trust me, they are pretty much worth it. Especially when you now turn them into T2, and maybe in the future when there's going to be some sort of like a T3, because I hear rumors that there might be, of what they probably want to make a situation in that case. You're already having that bonus from the start. You don't want to assign. You see all these random ones here, this master one here, flame one, wind one. It's all rubbish, and here's why this is important, right? Say for example, like, you know what, I can actually just try and recast it, right? Go over here, hit recast. There is no legendary among the options. You only have light, thunder, flame, master, and inferno for wind. All right. Of course, if you're dealing with, for example, fire, then you're going to be having fire is already there, so wind is going to come on the options there. But you're not going to be able to recast the legendary. In the past, I don't know why I didn't take note of that. So I was just kind of like super eager. Otherwise, I could have cleared Fashion Blanca first before dealing with all these other characters. So you make sure that you are getting, saving for the legendary, the first 4, and don't make a mistake and make it like a technique or a power equipment. It has to be the agility ones, because it's going to have to be the one that has this green. Make sure you look for this green feet here. It says agility here, and it has to have legendary stuff. Don't go for any of these ones, otherwise you're building for somebody else that either doesn't exist or it's going to be a paid character. Let's look at Flame Charlie, for example. I know some of my, wrong spot here. I want to actually go through this. I know some of my, boys here. Leon actually has her. All right, and go to her right now because she's a technic character. So you might want to go, but you can see his stuff right now. He just had. I don't know. Wait, hold on. I don't think this one actually shows you what they have until when you actually have the character. Let's go, for example, to see. I already loaned Leon. Okay, hold on. I want to just check something out real quick. Okay, give me a second here. I'm trying to see. Can I actually see what the character actually has if they're under here, or they just don't have it? Let me see. Oh yeah. I'm actually a bit concerned here. Why am I concerned? I don't know if you're loaning characters, do they actually let them have the the factions that they're supposed to have? Do they just automatically take it off, or is it that this is what this person alone has and he doesn't have what I'm looking for? Let's take Bison off because I want to be able to see his own Bison. Okay, there's no way he's pretty much one of my pay to play friends, and there's no way he's, as you can see, look at this, he has 40 of this. No, you can already tell what that means. He's already 3-star. There's no way he's going to be dealing with non-factional equipment. Probably whenever you loan, you don't get that bonus from the faction. I think that's what's happening here. Let me go ahead and put my weak Bison for now. He's not that weak, but he's weak. And I'm gonna go back here and I want to check something else. Okay, let's get out of here. These guys make too much noise. Back to the mercenary. Let's just look for someone who has a likelihood of actually. Yeah, I think if you're loaning characters, they don't exhibit their fashion. There is no way these guys would, not one person would, at least, even if it's not, the same faction, maybe a different faction. Yeah, it's very, very unlikely. So I think when you're using the mercenaries, you're not going to be getting the. Did they give anything information about that as well? The lone fighters. Grade, fighting soul, and gradual retain their stats. The lone fighters, fighting spirit, grade, fighting soul, and Garage will retain their stats and effect bonuses. Their level, equipment, and fighting heart will be converted to align with the borrower's own circumstances. Okay, so the equipment. So, well, if they're aligning with my own circumstance, right? What do you consider my circumstance? Let's look at Erie, for example, right now. We'll look at his equipment. Well, I'm on T2. I don't know what they're talking about. Well, in other words, what I'm seeing here is that what they've actually proven here is that you're not going to be seeing their grade, whatever the grade that they actually have is. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. All right. I spent one time on this section of the Fashion Blanca situation here, but that's pretty much what I was trying to like discuss here right now. All right. So the third one, obviously, that I want to go to here is we're going to go over to the shop. But let's wrap it up here. Once you've gotten your 4 sets, then you can now go ahead and purchase whatever you want, because this is stuff of free stuffs, all right, based on your priorities. But make sure you clear the Fashion Blanca, whatever. Typically, once you're either close to releasing characters, so for example, if you're like 10 days close to releasing Fashion Blanca, you would typically see in the gauge there, then start to pick it up. If you're sort of far from it, then I understand, but it's still worth getting out of the way first before you actually go ahead and focus on the other things you can actually pick. Okay, and for the dismissal shops, oh, this actually has reset at the perfect time. I actually didn't even know that this had reset already, because number one, I don't recommend you reset you reset this particular store. This one here, you can reset it because you might be looking for the one you want, but it costs 100 gems. Patience is key, unless you don't care about 100 gems, right? But going back to the shop here, this one here resets, I believe, every 28 days, almost like every month, right? But what you want to do is this. For me, the only things I take here are this guys here, okay? And the reason why I don't reset them is by the time you're taking these two, this is going to cost you 36k already, right? It's not easy for you to have like 42, right? Let's say 42 or 54, right? It's not easy for you to have 54k just from, unless you do so many, like for example, you see my gems here. Unless you do so many draws, that's when you have a chance of doing that. But I only draw with the fractional token, with the A grade tokens, and this arcade tokens, right? And this as well. This is the only things I draw with. Otherwise, there's nothing else that I typically draw with until once, even with after every review, I'm still probably going to save because we have Goken as well coming as well. He's also an important character for me also. So this is what you want to go for. These A frags, because these are guaranteed characters, right? And then you typically have to save up for the last one whenever the thing resets. So obviously what's going to happen is you're going to have more than enough and clear it, but there's no point in resetting, because what's going to happen is until the next 28 days, I don't know how it's going to be for you to pull so often that you actually can afford to get more. That's the only thing I go for here. I don't go for none of this stuffs. Even though they're cheap. I tried it the first time, it delayed me in getting the A frag second time, because I thought I'll have more than enough by the time it was time for this one to come out, but it kind of delayed me on that. Same thing with this. Fake gems are the only other things I would argue that you want to get, but only if you're okay with your units. But then if you have the chance to get like an A frag, like I would always take that over the fake gems. But the fake gems are great as well, but you're most likely going to find yourself getting 300 max, which in my own opinion is not worth it over getting A frags. Get the A frags. That's my recommendation. Like I said, it's all recommendations here. For the city shop, you see these characters here. You can go for this, you can go for all this. If you guys have any characters that you're trying to push that falls under this, like I said, you might as well just use that to go for the A frags here. What I typically go for here, and I have enough for her, is Jury. Alright, that's all I go for. I'm very, very particular about my Inferno characters. And no matter, right now, people are saying that Jury is no longer where she is right now. But trust me, there's one thing I'm always going to say. This is going to take my Jury right now. I believe, I have to go to the... Excuse me. I have to go to the back to actually convert it. I keep forgetting about that. This first I'm actually doing it as soon as I actually got her, because most of the time I'll just forget and I'll be looking for her in the awakening section here. This is the only place I've gotten Juri, and now she's ready to go to double S, which once a character hits double S, that's when the viability really kicks in. Okay, now and the reason why you want to be peculiar about your Inferno and Master characters is that they're the easiest ways to go through, you know, the easiest way to go through, this the inverse world. Yeah, I don't know why it's just getting off my head. The inverse world, because you can select factional based perks or challenges that would not affect you because you're going to be using Inferno characters. So that's one of the stuff you want to look out for, right? The next thing again, but if you, like I said, it's not necessary. That's just for me. I'm going for Inferno and factional characters because I also care about those as well, and because I always make sure that I get the scarce characters here. But if you have, for my brother, for example, Gal was a very, very important unit for him. He needed to push him as quickly as he could. He went with this one here, right? But then he didn't bother with the rest. Like E100 is also a good, it's a very, very good tank. But A frags, like I said, you're going to get them in some of the other places here. You have a chance of getting them. The other things that are also important here are these boost stones here, okay? Right? But here's the thing. Like I said before, this is really, really expensive. It's really a lot for you to go through. You're going to get boost stones from other things. You can actually buy them, other kind of stuff. But this character is always going to be scarce, so I will prioritize her. This one's here. You're seeing all this 40% off. Don't even bother with that one here. This is, like I said, these are another good ones as well to go for. Right? I want to go for these ones over these individual ones, okay? Because this one is typically on discounts. But again, too expensive until when you have Juri maxed out. Then you can now start going for this sort of stuff. And that's the other thing as well, like I said before, okay? It makes it easier for you to decide once you're maxing out characters. Alright, and then now for the final spot here. This is the same thing with the other one here. Unless you have any, character that you're sort of affectionate for, like for example, Elena is a pretty good character, you can go for her. But otherwise, or these boost stones too. Otherwise, they're too expensive. I would go for Rose here, okay? But that is just me here. So this video here, like I said before, this is pretty much what I typically focus on, okay? I actually thought it was going to be a very, very short video. I did a lot of expansion. Of course, there was a distraction initially with the dots over there, but yeah, I hope I was insightful enough with, like I said before. And just to expand here, there's going to hardly be this, like I said, if just to also give you a little bit of a justification here, the boost stones are too expensive at 165. It's going to take you a lot to actually hit this, unless, like I said, this is strictly free to play stuff, okay? Unless you're actually paying for the site, I can actually clear this whole stuff. Easy for you to actually boost all your characters as soon as possible if you're paid to win. But also, trust me, it also adds to the boredom because you already have what you're looking for. All you're looking forward to is who's the next new character I can boost up, right? And how can I get my character up to that level where I'm as competitive against the pay to win players. Like I said, it's still all fun for all parties here, but for you to actually want to be strategic about what you're purchasing in these shops, you have to obviously be free to play to start bothering yourself with what you prioritize. For me, it's Rose. The Rose one refreshes daily, but as I said, it refreshes daily for those. You can refresh it as quickly as possible if you're paying for the stuff. Otherwise, trust me, you can refresh 100 times. The rate at which it's going to take to build this stuff is not going to make you bother to do that, okay? And all the other stuff is also expensive. So just to give you a recap, I'm going to go from back to up. For here, I only go for Rose. Depending on if you have any other character you're important that you feel is important, Dalsim or Elena are a few that you might want to consider, even Zangief as well. You can try those, but if you don't care about Rose, you don't like Rose's kit. But if you like Rose's kit, which most people will probably do, go for Rose here because she's really scarce. You can barely find her anywhere else, okay? Or you can get the other ones from other options, so there's no point in wasting this resource on them. For the city shop, it's not as expensive, right, as that one here, but still pretty tough to get. Some people might want to go for Gal and boost their damage in the unit. I still say no, go for Juri only. She's the only scarce unit I cannot get anywhere else, and trust me, once that push her up, she becomes really, really viable and becomes really fun to use her, and I can build fighting stones on her. I'm actually looking forward to boosting her up next. For dismissal shops, strictly A frags, man. Like that's, I'm not even gonna just explain why. Strictly A frag. Yeah, this one's to help you to boost those other characters, but you're gonna get them anyways from, you know, all these ones you're gonna get occasionally. They're all over the place here when you're doing regular draws. They're gonna come out too. Don't waste it on these guys. A frag strictly, okay? Over here, clear your legendary first. Typically, you're gonna go for what is Blanca's equipment, so you want to go for agility based equipment to have legendary faction here. Clear all 4 and then you're done. Once you get 4 of them, you can now go. It makes you no longer have to think about what you want to get at this store. The rest are evenly, that's why the price are evenly the same, or evenly whatever. And then of course you might feel like you want to just go ahead without doing recast. Recast is fun even though it doesn't always hit the mark, right? So just go with the legendaries, and after that whatever you think rocks your boat, you can go for those. Here you want to go for the special summons. I think they're important. Some people might not care about those units. If you don't care about those units, then it's fine. But for me, I do care about them. They're very important. Most people actually care about them. That's why a lot of people have quit the game, because they've not been pretty much lucky after investing so much in getting those and then struggling to get them to a good level. As you can see right now, my Avery is stuck on SS Plus for weeks now, despite the fact that I got into SS Plus almost close to a month now. Still here. I thought it was going to be very close. Still here. I'm looking forward to getting more special summon tickets from the event. Of course, I'm going to get some once I clear my missions as well today. Extra 20, that's not bad. But those 20s can go on in an instant and you don't get any characters, so that's why you want to get as much as possible. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for me here with regards to what I recommend when you want to make your purchase at the shop. And this is where, going back to the bag, the money you hoard comes in, right? Okay, you know what? I ain't got enough money right now, and I'm looking at my. Let's see, are they available here too? I think they are. Did I just go past them? Yeah, I'm looking for the, I can only see the gold one. Oh, yeah, I'm looking for this. I only have 96. I don't think that's going to be enough. So I'm like, see, this one right now, I have a lot of this, but this one I have very scarce amount of this, and this is going to cost me, 14. I have 8. This is where the bag now comes in, right? This is where the bag comes in. I was talking about holding. Now I can now try and see if I can actually get enough. This take me over to like 10. Thereabout. Go with this one here. This takes me to about what, 11 or so. This one I think has. This one has. Oh, okay. I have this one too. Oh, I have this one as well. Okay, I'll use it from low to high. This one takes me to around 13, I believe. I think I've hit 14 right now. Okay, now if I go over here, 15, I'm all good. But okay, there's one important thing that I have to do here as well that I can't afford to skip. That's going to be this one here. I'm close to taking this to 297. I'm going to have to prioritize this first. Luckily for me, it's about just 1 point something mil, so I should still be able to recover that. So we're good on that right now. Okay, we're at 297 right now. I can now go right ahead. Go back to my bag again. I think I still have a few more that I can actually unlock here. Or did I? Okay, yeah, this one here. Hopefully it's enough. Okay, take me to 14. Would that take me to 14? We still have one more shot. Okay, if I don't get a 14, we still have one more shot here. Okay, it's on 14 on the dot. Oh, but this is 14.4. Would it be enough? Not enough. Alright, so now there's the last bit here. I haven't done my idle gains yet. How much are you going to give me here? Wow. Not enough. Alright, I typically like to do extra. Alright, and that's enough for me right now. If it's not enough, I'll get the money later. But that's why you want to hold that cash as well, right? But if it's enough, then we buy it and then we move on for that. It is enough, move on for that. Extra 30. That's pretty much it from me, guys. If you like this sort of contents, let me know. Let me know what you guys typically use yours for under each section of the stores. Going to show them again. The general store, what you like to purchase here. In the guild shop, what you like to get over here. Do you agree with my opinion that you want to clear out the legendary fractional equipment first before going for anything else. Over here, do you go for anything else other than the A frags? And over here, do you actually go for anything other than jury? And of course, last but not least, do you go for anything other than rose? Let me know in your comments below. It's been your boy Shinryu, and I was actually happy to actually finally get this video done because I didn't want to do it for the longest time. And thanks for the views and also for the subscribes. I pretty much appreciate you guys as well, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.